What is up, guys? Welcome back to the 10 Ounce Fight Club. And my partner in crime here has returned from his journey. So
Yeah, Hatman Jam back from his vacation. It was a great time. Got to go see some family. It was great.
but there's a lot to cover. A lot of things happened last weekend. And I once again shout out to One Cerveza Please for coming on the pod to fill in. We had a great episode, great time, and we talked about a lot of fights, a lot of cool matchups, and we're going to do it again this week, so let's get into it, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, OCP, for covering for me.
All right, so what the last UFC event on this Saturday was headlined by Curtis Blaydes versus Sergey Pavlovich, and we both saw the fight. What do we think? What do you think about this fight, James? What do you think happened in the fight?
I think, I mean, not for lack of trying, honestly. Pavlovich was just coming at him hard and heavy right from the get-go, you know what I mean? And even when Curtis did go for that double leg, I mean, he just dropped the hips on him and stuffed the takedown. I mean, Curtis had a couple shots there. I think he had some chances, but he just never really got going there, you know, and Sergey didn't let him.
Yeah. This was going to be like a big test for Sergey's wrestling, because I think when he made his heavyweight debut, like, he just got wrestled, and he just showed that he was all about like stand-up. He had no grappling game or anything like that. So I think a lot of people were coming into this fight thinking, you know, hey, best wrestler in the division, Curtis Blaydes, is obviously going to take this guy down. And and then probably finish the fight that way, or just take it, take him there, take his pop away, you know, by grappling with him in the early. But Blaydes was landing like really well, and well enough that he got real confident in his striking. And I think that him wanting to like wrestle with Pavlovich went out the window, because he was like, hey, I'm landing these hands, baby. Like,
he just waited too long. He waited till he got caught.
I think he just got so in love with the shots that he did hit on Pavlovich, because they were good shots. They were clean shots. But I mean, Sergey took him like a boss.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. You know, that's what I mean when I say like Curtis never really got going. It never felt to me like Curtis was winning the fight. You know.
Gotcha. Yeah.
He was landing those shots, but Sergey was still just coming right at him, and it felt like Curtis was. I mean, and he was slipping those shots for a good portion of the fight. But
yeah, and it got deep into like further into the round, and Blaydes got hurt. That like all the setting up of takedowns just went out the window.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he felt the power, he's like, okay, like, yeah, now I really got to start grappling. And he didn't set up anything with any of his strikes. I believe he like just tried to take down Pavlovich like one time, and the takedown he did throw was just like super sloppy. It was really easy to defend, and Pavlovich kept it on the feet and finished him there. And man, Sergey's scary, dude.
Dude, he's a tough guy.
Yeah, and
he is a tough guy.
And he doesn't have the name yet, because we've had like Francis, in the UFC for so long, and like that was the guy that was like had the power, and Derek Lewis as well too. And then, but Sergey, he's soft spoken, doesn't really talk a lot outside, in media. He just lets his work in the octagon do the talking for him, and so he kind of slips underneath the radar a lot of times, but. Man, dude, he's really good.
He is jacked.
Yeah,
too. I mean, that boy is stacked.
Yeah. He's built tough, dude. And great chin as well. He was getting hit by some big shots, and he even got hit by Tai Tuivasa a couple times big, and he was able to take him out. But what is this? A 6-fight knockout streak for Sergey?
Yeah.
I forgot who he tied, but I think. I forgot who the most was too. So, but yeah, he's like tied with someone, and then he just needs to get one more, and then I think he's tied for the most in UFC history, or the longest knockout streak in UFC history. But
what do you want next for him?
Man, I think I heard DC saying today that Sergey should call for being a backup fighter once again for a title fight. I don't think it's a bad option, because I do think UFC is going to go with the matchup with between Jones and Stipe. So 100%. I think Sergey, like, if he wants to, keep his name relevant, he already, weighed in as an alternate for the last John Jones title fight when he fought Cyril Gane, and so like, why not, raise your hand for this one? The cuts aren't as like dangerous and aren't as massive in heavyweight, so he doesn't have to worry about it. So I think he should be hot and ready for that one, and then see how that fight plays out, and I think you throw Sergey right in there next.
You know what I miss instead of having the backup fighter? Because we haven't always had a backup fighter. That's fairly new in today's MMA world. I miss when they just threw on a sweet co-main.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like a contenders fight of a co-main in the same weight class.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that come back. I'd like to see Sergey fight another huge contender if they do Jones and Stipe whenever they make
on the
that
card.
happen.
Yep.
On that same card.
That'd be cool. Yep.
You know, if you want to get a little Russian on Russian action, maybe you could do Alexander Volkov and Sergey Pavlovich. I think that'd be a great fight. I think Volkov's height and his experience can play a huge factor in that. I mean, Sergey is a knockout king right now, but he's only 18-1. I mean, I say only 18-1 like that's not incredibly impressive. It's an absolutely fantastic record. But what I mean is let's pull up Alexander Volkov. What is this professional record?
I mean, Volkov has one of the most crazy records in UFC and kickboxing, you know. And he's fighting at heavyweight. He was kickboxing at heavyweight, and then, you know, he's fighting in the heavyweight division now. And so I'm pretty sure his record is he's
36-10.
Yeah, that's a crazy record for pro MMA.
He's got more than twice the amount of fights that Sergey Pavlovich has, and I'm just saying that experience can play huge in a fight like that. Not that Sergey couldn't catch him and win that fight, and if they can't make that happen or they don't want to make that happen, maybe there's some camaraderie there or something. Who knows?
Yeah, that would be an amazing fight though, because no one's gonna take this to the ground in this fight. Like Volkov's not gonna shoot any takedowns.
Oh no, those boys are gonna slug it.
Oh yeah, and it would be a good one. And I think that would be smart. Just throw it on as a co-main, big co-main underneath Jones and Stipe, and
or you throw Cyril Gane in there. If they can't make that happen, you throw Cyril Gane in there with Sergey Pavlovich. It'll be another fight. Nobody's shooting.
Yeah.
They're gonna be throwing shots, but nobody's shooting.
Yeah. No, that'd be a great matchup. All right, so that was our UFC main event for last week covered, Blaydes versus Pavlovich. So now let's go on to the big boxing event, the one that everyone was waiting for, everyone was talking about. You got Gervonta Tank Davis.
The Tank versus the King.
Against Ryan the King Garcia. So James was, while he was away, he was able to watch the fight. Tell me, break this fight down for me, because I just got kind of some glimpses of it, highlights and stuff like that, stuff on social media, but I wasn't able to watch the full fight yet. So tell me about what happened in this fight.
So I gave Ryan Garcia rounds 1 and 6. Okay. He came out looking good in round 1. You know, he's very fast. He was using his height well. But Tank is usually a slow starter anyways. Yeah. You know, he usually takes his time and downloads you when he's fighting you. But what Tank did really well in that fight is he forced Ryan to start. He was baiting the left hook. You know, he kept sticking him with the lead with the jab hand and just leaving it on him, getting him to throw that left hook, and then he would slip down under it. He's already so short and he fights low. He gets down so low when he slips. You know what I mean? It's almost like he used Garcia's height against him. You know, he was a more skilled boxer that night. Yeah, and his power obviously showed. I mean, even when he dropped him with that overhand, it was it was fantastic. Yeah, and
like you said, like from the clips I saw, Garcia looked really fast, and when he was able to get that speed advantage on Davis, and it was usually when like Davis was like circling like towards the ropes and stuff. I saw.
Well, and that's what Davis was using to win, was his lateral movement.
Yeah, and so like Garcia was able to like get some shots in like every once in a while, and they look fast and they look great. But Davis he's patient, he's deadly, and he's smart, dude. His fight IQ is crazy. I mean, he has Mayweather in his camp, and he spars with like great partners. He has great people behind him, so like his IQ is great. And I think. What do you think about the whole weigh-in clause and stuff like that? Do you think that really affected the fight as much as it did?
I do think it played a factor. I don't think it played enough of a factor where I think Ryan Garcia's chances of winning increased drastically. You know, Tank is just a better boxer in my opinion. Yeah. You know, I had Tank going into the fight. You know, I knew Ryan Garcia is a hot young boxer that, anybody can win on any night. But I just thought Tank fought. He's got the better experience. He's got the better record. Yeah. He's more experienced in there. And that's no takeaway from Ryan Garcia. He's only 24. He has got nothing but time ahead of him. And he will be back. This is not the last you've seen of him.
Yeah, and I hope that this fight shows that boxing can be more than just undefeated records. Like,
oh yeah, that losing is not the end of a fighter's career.
Like, because I really hope that this fight shows it, because I think that these guys could get matched up later down the line again.
Oh yeah.
You know, and hopefully it'll be like at where, you know, like again, like this, like how we saw is like they're at this level, and I just want to see these guys fight. Like, I want to see the best boxers fight at their best level. Like, we're able to see, you know, sometimes in the UFC, like a lot. And I hope that
the reason UFC is the flagship in combat sports.
Yeah. And, I hope boxing learns a lot from this fight. And, like I said in the last episode, props to both gentlemen on getting this fight created, and both promotions, both coming together and making it happen. And we saw after the fight, you know, the two men exchanged numbers. They showed respect to each other. You know, there was a lot of talk in the buildup, but at the end of the day, when you share the ring with someone, you share the cage with someone, like, any animosity gets thrown out the window. You know, I mean, in order, you guys are both warriors, and you can set aside like any beefs or anything to come together and celebrate the sport together. So I like the sportsmanship from both men that night.
Love to see it.
So so anything else we could mention on that, or should we move on to the next one?
Let's move on to the next one.
Okay. So next event is going to be this upcoming Saturday, and it's going to be Song Yadong versus Ricky Simone, and this is a fill-in match. I forgot what fight. What was the fight on this that fell apart? Man, I'm not gonna. I can't even remember. But, anyways,
yeah, my bad, buddy. I let you down there.
No, dude, you're all good, man. I forgot too. So, this one was the Arman Sarukian and Hinata Moicano. That was going to be the headliner for this one. Right. Moicano, I think he's had some spine injuries or something like that. So. Hopefully he's doing okay and can get in there soon. But yeah, so new main event is Song Yadong versus Ricky Simone, and I think this is a great matchup from the UFC. Both these guys are young and hungry, and right up there in the rankings. Ricky Simone's aggressive wrestler, big power too.
Right,
great
gas tank.
Yeah, the cardio, from Simone is crazy.
Great chin as well.
Yeah. One of the only guys in the UFC that has a win over Merab Dvalishvili, so you know how tough this guy is and how much his cardio.
You know what his gas tank is.
He out-cardioed the cardio king in this division, you know? So, like, Ricky Simone does not play around when it comes to cardio. And then he's going up against Song Yadong, and Song Yadong, he's got some big power, dude. He has nice boxing combos. He trains with Team Alpha Male with Uriah Faber and them, and yeah, Song's a very talented fighter. Both guys are fairly young. I think Song is actually one of the youngest fighters on the roster. I believe he might just be 20. I think he might just be like 20 or 21 at this time. Oh, sorry. My bad. He's a little 25. Bit older, 25. Yep. And then, Ricky Simone just being just crossing into his 30s. So, I think this is a great matchup. I think it's going to be very technical. Song Yadong is really going to have to show how well his takedown defense is.
I was going to say it's a pretty good striker versus grappler matchup here, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, where Song's coming off that tough fight against Corey Sandhagen, who he himself is on a rally.
Yeah.
And Ricky Simone, like you said, Ricky Simone's got that gas tank. He's got the grappling. Song Yadong is, like you said, going to have to bring his takedown defense to the octagon with him on Saturday, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think Ricky's going to stand with him.
I'll tell you right now, I think this fight's going to go to decision. I think both guys are so tough.
Yeah.
I think that this is going to go all the way. But if I had to make a pick on this fight, I think I'm going to stay with Simone on this one.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Ricky Simone.
Yeah, but Song Yadong's dangerous fighter, man. He has big power,
incredible speed.
Yeah,
incredible speed.
Yeah, and his boxing is really nice. And it'll be that should be a good matchup. All right, so. We're going to fast forward a little bit to UFC 288.
Sure.
So this is looking like a great card, dude.
It is a fantastic card.
Because when it first got announced, it was kind of a little bit. I was kind of on the fence about it, and then big hit to it was Charles Oliveira and the Beneil Dariush fight.
Hate Triple C so much.
No, I love Henry Cejudo. What are you talking about, man? Yeah, no, Triple C, I love his podcast with the Schmo.
Love that one.
All the content that those two produce together is funny. And so he's a great guy. He's a funny dude. I like him, but
he is a fight nerd, and I love that about him.
Yes, yeah, he's definitely one of those junkie guys that is watching tape, just going reel after reel, highlights after highlights of fighters to, whether he's fighting against them or he's training his fighters. He loves to do that stuff. So, all right, with dropping on our, let's go down to the first fight to kick off the main event. It's going to be Kron Gracie versus Charles Air Jourdain. Man, you cannot get a boring fight with Charles Jourdain. He's one of those guys that he's going to come forward and just try to cave your skull in with any technique, that he uses. And he's super aggressive, and he's going to come to win this fight. Or he's going to really show up, put a good effort in, and then he's going against Kron Gracie, which how many
please educate me here. Where has he been? What
I
happened to Kron Gracie?
I don't know, man.
He hasn't fought since he fought Cub Swanson back in 2019.
Yeah, maybe I don't know where he's been. Maybe it's been, he's training other people, maybe teaching, or injuries, might have set him back. But
who knows? But welcome back, Kron Gracie. We're excited to see you.
Yeah, and he's got a tough matchup with Charles Jourdain, but I think that's a good opener for this UFC.
Especially if Kron fights the way he fought Cub Swanson that night, it's going to be a banger of an opener.
And then next, we got one of the most feared fighters in the division, in my opinion. I think should be on everyone's list. But he's not that feared because he's fighting Bryce Mitchell, and Bryce Mitchell signed on the dotted line, dude. And no one wanted to fight Musaffar Ilavayev. And Bryce Mitchell said,
I want Evalaev and Topuria to run into each other.
I
think that's a bulldog versus a bulldog. It's a monster versus a monster. It's going to be great if they can make that happen.
Yeah, but Bryce Mitchell ain't scared of no man.
Bryce Mitchell fears no man.
They make him tougher down in Arkansas.
Unless he has the flu.
Yeah, that's for sure, dude. Oh, man. Yeah, no, we love Bryce Mitchell, man. He's such a cool character. And
I do love Bryce Mitchell. I want to see another twister.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, one of the few fighters to land a twister in the UFC, and
he's got to be the only one to land it twice.
Oh, did he land it twice?
I'm almost positive he's landed it twice
in a jiu-jitsu match, or I know that he's done it in the UFC, but I'm not sure if he's done it twice. I think he almost tried to get it done twice, but yeah, no, we love Bryce Mitchell. He's such a cool character, and
he has two.
He has two in the UFC.
In the UFC.
Oh my god!
Oh no, sorry, no, just the second UFC history. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I thought he had two.
I was like, dude, I can't remember that, but if he did it, I would.
No, you're right. I'm thinking of the one where he was trying to do it. He kept going for it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. But yeah, dude, this is gonna be a good matchup. Musaffar is deadly, great wrestling, good hands, very deadly guy, and yeah, I think this would be a good test for both guys. See where Musaffar is in his grappling, because Bryce Mitchell, he does a lot of chain wrestling, and his jiu-jitsu game is really, really good. But his striking can be a little bit sneaky if you underestimate it too much. But I think Musaffar is going to have a big advantage on the feet.
You know these guys were booked last year?
I know that. Yeah, I know that this fight was booked and it fell out somehow. I don't know. I don't remember how, but. But yeah, no, I think this is a great matchup. I'm glad that the UFC put this one together. So, any other takeaways on this fight, James?
You know what? I think we're gonna get some great grappling exchanges in that fight. And if you really are a jiu-jitsu nerd, it's gonna be a great fight to watch.
Yeah. All right. So next one we have Jessica Andrade versus going up against Yang Xiaonan. So this looks like it's gonna be number one title, or like a number one contender spot right here.
In my opinion, yeah. For women's strawweight, because Yan Xiaonan is coming off of that tough fight against Mackenzie Dern, where I did have her win in that fight, and then she had that decision loss to Marina Rodriguez. But
yep,
if she can get a big win over here against Jessica Andrade, then she's right back in the title picture.
And then Andrade, her last fight was at flyweight, and then she steps down and goes back to her kind of more natural weight class, and seems like she's really trying hard this time to make another run for the title. She has a win over Rose, and then I think Jessica can really stay. I think that she could probably get back to the title, but it's hard. There's a lot of girls right now that are in line that are on the run, for the title too, and I think are going to be great matchups. And I think Yan Xiaonan is a great one.
Yeah, I don't know why Jessica Andrade is coming back down to strawweight. I don't know if she's trying to make a permanent move back to strawweight. I don't know if she's just taking a fight to.
I think she took a fight last time, short notice on flyweight, and then she lost.
Okay.
She fought. Oh my gosh,
Aaron Blanchfield.
Yep,
lost by submission.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep, that was the one. And so I think that's a great women's fight. I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I got it backwards. My bad.
Yeah, like I said, I think this is going to be probably number one contenders, right here between these two. And Yang Xiaonan, I like her too. Like she has very good style, and I think great matchup from the UFC right here. So all right, co-main event, the recently added Bilal Muhammad versus Gilbert Burns.
Yes, sir.
No more
the last minute fill in for both men.
Yep, no more calling for that title shot because this fight's going to decide who gets the next title shot after Colby. Sorry. Don't want to offend Colby Covington.
Talking about a number one contender fight. This is a number one contender fight right here.
Yep.
And a quick turnaround for Durinho. And you look at both these guys. You got Bilal Muhammad. Remember, the name is sitting there with 22-3, one no contest, that eye poke with Leon Edwards.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Then you've got Gilbert Durinho Burns, 22-5, coming off of a fairly dominant win over Jorge Masvidal. He didn't go out there and make him look silly, but, at no point did I think Masvidal was winning the fight there.
Yeah.
But big fight for both guys,
Yeah.
And like like we've been saying, a win right here propels you to the next. You're fighting Colby or Leon next, 100%.
Yeah.
You got a golden ticket.
Yeah. No, I think this is a great matchup. I think Bilal's this is his seems like his moment to finally get to that title picture.
What's he coming off? Sean Brady?
Yeah, the TKO of Sean Brady. And for Gilbert Burns, I think, he's kind of said in the past, this is, he's getting up there in age. This is going to be his last run pretty much. So he's got to make this thing,
I mean, and Bilal Muhammad's right there as well. He's 34, but yeah, I know he's on one hell of a win streak, but yeah, I mean, his last 5 are Damian Maia, Stephen Thompson, Vicente Luque, Sean Brady, and Leon Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, this is a great matchup. It's really hard to make a pick on this one because both guys are so strong in certain fields, but they're recently their striking has gotten better. We always talk about Burns and all the jiu-jitsu, the ADCC stuff and all the Abu Dhabi tournaments he's won.
Oh, 100%. And, I know we don't believe in moral victories here, but him going 3 rounds with Khamzat Chimaev.
Oh, yeah, that was
I don't care who you are. That's impressive as hell.
Yeah. And, Bilal Muhammad, his wrestling has always been pretty on point. And then recently his striking has kind of it's
he
kind
brought
of
it to the Sean Brady fight,
Yeah, it's kind of catching up to him. But I still think Burns is going to have an advantage here with the striking. He's been with Coach Henry Hoof for such a long time. He's trained with Kamaru Usman, who has big power, and he's trained with Michael Chandler, all these big powerful guys. So I don't think that I don't think that any power that Bilal is going to be able to throw his way, he's going to be too worried about, and he's going to be it's going to shake him. So I think Burns might win this fight, man. To be honest,
I agree. I'm going with Durinho here, and for a similar reason, I'm going with strength of schedule here.
Yeah,
like you said, although it was a knockout loss, he was still in the ring with Kamaru Usman. He was in there with Stephen Thompson. They were both in there with Stephen Thompson. He was in there with Khamzat. He was in there with George. Gilbert, like I said, better strength of schedule.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Well, before we get to the main event, we're going to take a quick break, reset some things, and we'll be right back with you. All right, guys, and we are back. Okay, so we just finished up with Bilal Muhammad.
Burns.
Yep, Burns. Sir. So we are on to the big main event, and this is going to be a good one.
All right. Do we want to do the challenger or the champ first?
Let's do the challenger first.
All right. I'll bring us in with Henry Cejudo. What are we going back? 5 fights?
Yeah, let's go back 5 fights.
All right, so not counting the current matchup?
Yep, not counting current matchup.
So if we go back 5 for Henry Cejudo, we got to go way back to Holloway versus Aldo to 2017. I mean, Henry Cejudo did take quite a break there when he beat Sergio Pettis by unanimous decision, which got him back to the title fight against Demetrius Johnson. where he was able to beat Demetrius Johnson in an incredibly close split decision fight.
Yep.
But nonetheless, he beat an unbeatable opponent at that time.
Yeah.
In a rematch where he was TKO'd in the first round.
Yeah.
In the previous fight. So that was a big win for him. And then he rode that confidence all the way up to having TJ Dillashaw. I don't know what TJ was thinking, cutting down to 125.
Yeah.
Where Cejudo beat him by TKO.
Yep.
In the very first round in 32 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we move on to him versus Marlon Moraes for double champ status for the vacant bantamweight title at that time. And he was getting wailed on in the beginning of that fight. He was eating leg kicks like a motherfucker, and he ended up rallying back, hitting Moraes with some power, and Moraes never really came back from that.
Yeah, that was weird, huh?
That was kind of, Moraes really kind of went on he had a rough streak after that. After that, Cejudo came into the COVID era, and he was able to TKO Dominic Cruz in the second round, right at the end of the second round. So that was another huge win for him against another huge fighter where no one had ever beaten Dominic Cruz like that before ever at that point. And that brings us in, and then he went to retirement.
Yeah, yep, yeah. And, yeah, look at that. That list is crazy because look at the only person that wasn't like a championship fighter or in a championship fight was
Sergio Pettis, but he's now a champion.
Yeah, well, yeah, Sergio, and then Marlon. Like Marlon was like the one.
Yeah.
But like everyone else that he's fought, they've either went on to become champions or they were champions at their their time.
Moraes had made it to that vacant title.
Yeah.
He had earned his way.
But still such a high level, and like to be facing that competition and having victories over some of the opponents he's faced is big, and I think it's something that might kind of get exposed with maybe with Aljamain, because Aljamain hasn't had the schedule in his last opponents like Triple C has had. So his last is if we're going back 5 fights, he has a win over Pedro Munoz, and then
unanimous decision.
Yep, and then he has a win over Corey Sandhagen.
That was insane.
Yeah, that was a good showing from Aljamain there, because Corey was looking very dangerous.
Corey was
at
looking
that point
exactly.
too.
He was being himself, and Aljamain just came out and swooped him.
Yeah, and then you see now what Corey has become, this monster.
Yeah,
and so for Aljamain to get a win over him at this time, it's shows a lot. And then we go into the illegal knee against Petr Yan. He gets kneed as a down opponent, and he receives the belt via disqualification of Petr Yan. And then he goes to rematch Petr Yan, proves all the kind of haters wrong, gets that win over Petr Yan, and he did mop the floor with Petr Yan in that fight. The grappling was definitely too much for Petr in that one.
Okay, can I comment on that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to the first Petr Yan fight.
Let's go. Let's talk about that.
Sterling 1. Petr Yan had 1 knockdown to Aljamain's 0. Petr Yan landed 86 strikes to Aljamain's 97. Significant strikes. Petr Yan had 7 takedowns to Aljamain's 1. And then Petr Yan hit the illegal knee, and the rest is history in round 4. So we move on to the rematch. Neither fighter had a knockdown. Petr Yan had 63 strikes landed to Aljamain's 62, and then Aljamain did have the 2 takedowns where he did back and control Petr Yan for those rounds.
Yeah. Yep.
And it was still a split decision.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that says a lot about those 2 fighters together. And if Petr Yan can get off of this skid that he's on, I don't know. Hopefully he can rally back to the title.
Ever since that knee happened with him, it's just been such a shiner on his career, and it feels like he's just been off a little bit lately, and like the matchups have been like crazy that he's like received. But still, it's just he's just had a tough skid lately. But yeah,
let's not lose focus though. Let's get back to it. And then after Petr Yan 2, what do we got?
So after that, we have his recent showcase of like the grappling skills over TJ Dillashaw, but you have some controversy even with this fight. Like
that was an iffy situation.
Yeah, where now we found out that Dillashaw had a fully his knees were done.
And his shoulder was dislocated.
Yeah. And like, so he was like so damaged, like coming into that camp. And, and then, he had the big shoulder dislocation injury where he was saying that it was dislocating from like while he was in camp, while he was like training. And they just kind of kept it under wraps and put him in the fight. And, it wasn't the smart move, definitely from that camp. But, it's so weird how Aljamain's like career is like kind of spotted, dude. Like, it's just weird. The only one that really just stands out a lot is that Corey Sandhagen win. But the other matchups has just been kind of
even the Peter Yan rematch win was, I felt like Aljo won the fight at the end.
Yeah. I thought he won. Yeah.
But
that's But now we have these two men facing each other, Henry Cejudo and Aljamain Sterling, and I think it's a great matchup. James over here, ride or die for Triple C. I love Triple C, even though sometimes it might not seem like it, but I do have a big spot in my heart for Henry Cejudo. But I kind of think that this might be his Aljamain's like kind of not you must have forgot, but like let me show you who I really am.
He's gonna put a stamp on it.
Yeah, and I think this is the best opportunity if he wants to really like win back fans and like get the UFC to really like have eyes on him, because he kind of has a weird relationship with the UFC.
Well,
right
this
now.
Is his first. He's headlining. You know what I mean? If you look at all these other fights where he fought for the belt, even the first Yan fight, it was a co-main.
Yep.
The second Yan fight was a co-main. The fight with TJ was a co-main. So this is his opportunity to headline, and I think both fighters really, they make great dance partners for each other as far as the promotion, as far as headlining a UFC fight card. But I agree. I think Aljamain, this is his opportunity 100% to put a stamp on it. I do think he has what it takes to finish Henry Cejudo, but vice versa in the other direction.
Yeah. Yeah, Cejudo's striking is going to be real dangerous in this one, and Cejudo's blitz style that he like kind of likes. I've noticed. I've kind of seen like Mighty Mouse do it when he was in the UFC, where he just comes forward with like not like he's smart about it, he's technical about it, but he just comes forward and like lands. I feel like with the Dominic Cruz fight, like
your favorite fight in the world. That's what he builds his whole career on.
Yeah.
It's fighting.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like and like his fight with like Dominic Cruz, like he just kept on like the pressure was like insane from Cejudo, and so it's gonna be so interesting to see how Aljamain is gonna deal with that pressure that Cejudo is gonna bring. And like I said, I do think Cejudo might have a little bit of a lead on the striking in this one. And the Olympic level wrestling too that he has is going to prevent those takedowns from, actually being effective on him too.
Yeah, I do think that the Henry's grappling and wrestling experience will prove efficient in keeping Aljamain off of his back. But I do think Aljamain being the bigger, longer, taller fighter, and he is not lacking in size or strength whatsoever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And he hydrates up just fine. So. Yeah, I do think that Aljamain, I think if he does win, he's going to land, like he was saying in his own videos, a knee or something like that.
Gotcha.
But I can also see Cejudo hitting a big overhand right and, taking Aljo down. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited for this whole card. This matchup is going to be, great to, end the night. And so is there any other takeaways we got on this one?
Yeah, real quick before we let this one go, what's your X factor for Aljo, and I'll give you mine for Cejudo.
Okay.
I could start. So for Cejudo, what Cejudo brings is, and not that Aljo's not a smart fighter, not that he's not a cerebral fighter, but I think Henry Cejudo is just different as far as the way he sees the fight game and his approach. I think I have a huge respect for his approach to fighting and matchups and game planning and preparation in general. There's a reason people like Davidson Figueiredo, Zhang Weili, and John Jones all went to Henry Cejudo to win their belts back.
Definitely, yeah.
So,
yeah, no, I think
that's my X factor there.
Yeah, no, that's totally accurate, and yeah, I totally see that. And I think my X factor for Aljamain is going to be his size and then his jiu-jitsu. I think that's going to be his X factor. And if he can get takedowns going and get Henry in a bad position, I think that he has like a strength advantage in the grappling. But yeah, he's got to get it there first, and so yeah, I think that's a great takeaways from that fight. And let's wrap it up with some news in the UFC MMA world. So tell me about what happened in New Orleans with one of the Diaz brothers.
So I don't even know who this guy was. Who was the guy that approached Nate Diaz?
So I think he's a Logan Paul lookalike. He's gotten some kind of, I've seen him get a little bit of a footing on TikTok and, Instagram and stuff like that for being like a lookalike. And he's done a couple videos with the Paul brothers, I believe. So I don't know. It would be absolutely funny if Diaz thought he was Logan Paul and just like.
Well, the guy went at him with his hands up.
Oh yeah. And
what do you think Nate Diaz is going to do to you? What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah. And it's not like, Diaz like threw on him either. Like he just, dude kind of landed right into the guillotine and he cranked on the neck, dude, and put him out. But
yeah, he did.
And now after the guy got released from Diaz, he ended up hitting the back of his head on the concrete.
No, he did not land safely at all.
Yeah, and so now he's he's looking at pressing charges, and he turns out that Diaz is actually wanted for assault in New Orleans by the New Orleans Police Department, and
yeah,
some big
stuff. He turned himself in and then got out on bond.
Yeah, he did turn himself in this morning, and then he paid his bond and he was able to get released and stuff. But still, like. That's a little drama kind of right there. And, don't pick fights with the UFC fighters, guys. I think that's like the worst decision you can make in your life. Yeah.
Yep. Play stupid games.
Yep.
On both parts, though. You know what I mean? Don't go starting fights and try your best not to get into a fight because,
run away from a fight if you have to because you never know what's going to go down.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. All right. Then we have another big news coming out from Izzy's camp. The footage revealed that he actually suffered a MCL tear before his fight with Pereira.
What do they hit him with here? An outside trip?
Yeah, I believe he gets hit with like an outside trip, and then it's just like the leg kind of gets folded a little bit wrong.
Yep, outside trip, and he came back down on his foot. That sucks.
So yeah, like that just puts like a bigger. Was that before this last fight, right?
God, these comments are horrible. They are so mean.
Oh yeah, you can't look at any comments about Izzy or it's bad, dude.
It was before 287. So
okay, yeah. So that just it puts even more light on his performance. There against Pereira.
Right, 100%.
Yeah, and props to Izzy for, rehabbing correctly, taking it like a G and showing up to fight and not being scared of an injury and stuff like that. But you should take care of those injuries, though, if you can and you have the opportunity to. But on the stage that these guys are in, when all this money is like on the line, it's kind of hard to say.
I think Izzy's pull-out game is too weak.
Oh, no. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, dude. No. All right, so another big fight that got announced, added to International Fight Week.
Well, a lot of huge fights got announced, but this one just really stood out to us, so it had to be on the news.
Yeah.
Why don't you bring us in talking about the challenger here, and I think the viewers will figure the rest out.
Oh, yeah. So we got our challenger against our boy, Robert Whittaker. But let's talk about Dricus du Plessis from South Africa. Very dangerous fighter. He's ran through the scene in the South African leagues and stuff like that.
5-0 in the UFC.
Yeah, so he's got a good streak going so far.
He's got 4 finishes and 1 decision. I mean, he's right. He's done exactly what he needs to do to get to where he wants to be.
Yeah, and some of the performances, you might not put the word pretty on him, like like we've seen like some of the other people in the division, do, but he's gotten these wins and he's went through like tough fights, grew through some like tough moments and gotten the win and stuff. But yeah, Dricus is a very tough fighter.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people like to talk about his cardio. So I think that,
and his physique.
Yeah.
His physique is insane.
Yeah, he's jacked, man. And he's a big boy.
Cut.
Yeah, he's a big boy for this division. One of the only South African fighters on the roster. But he's going against the Reaper, man. And did you see that post? And it's like Dricus du Plessis, his comment is, "I'm going to take Robert Whittaker into the deep waters." And then it's like a picture of Robert Whittaker, on the floaty. It's like Whittaker in the deep waters. Yes. Yeah, like that's exactly, I think, how this is going to go, where Whittaker's really going to show like why he's there, like right outside, getting being a champion or like getting the title shot. He's like, I hate using that word gatekeeper, dude, but man, he's like, I don't know. It's so weird. The position he's in where he's like, Izzy's beating him, those times. And then he just keeps on knocking contenders away. And so like Izzy's like says, to Dricus, like, please for the love of God, win this fight. So I don't have to fight Bobby Knuckles again.
He wants to beat Dricus. I don't know what the African beef there is, but
I
know Adesanya took it to heart and he wants the smoke.
Yeah. No, I think I got to stick with Whitaker on this one, man.
Oh, I'm taking the Reaper 100%. Don't get me wrong. Dricus's resume speaks for itself. It's incredibly impressive. He's on one hell of a run.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why, Robert Whitaker is right up there as one of the he's right up there as one of the gatekeepers you do not run into. You know what I mean? Right up there with this guy. Yeah. So
I feel like if you're not Izzy or Pereira, if you're trying to make a title run, the person who is your roadblock is Whitaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he is not who you want to see. Let's see who he's fended off from fighting the champion or trying to make their way back to the belt. Marvin Vettori, Kelvin Gastelum, Jared Cannonier. Yeah, Jared Cannonier, they're like, okay, well, Whitaker beat everybody else, and he can't fight Whitaker again. So
yeah, and he hurt Cannonier bad, dude.
He did.
Yeah, and
Darren Till, and then, the rest goes back to his championship days. But
yeah. So, yeah, I think, whoever wins this fight, they're going to go straight to the title shot. It's so hard for me to think, like, do I, like, really want to see Whitaker versus Adesanya again?
Yeah, but what do you do? If Whitaker beats Duplessis, who do you have him fight?
You got to do it, man. You just got to, like, it's just how it is. Either that or maybe Izzy goes up to 205. Maybe he says that.
Tries to go back for double champ status.
Yeah, but no, I'm okay with seeing Izzy and Whitaker one more time. And and if Duplessis wins, he's getting straight to the title.
Straight to the title.
Yeah, he'll probably they'll try to get him in August if he can pull through on this.
Let me ask you this: what's left at middleweight outside of these two guys?
There's not too much, man.
There's nothing that's not a rematch.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, you have the Abus Nurmagomedov fighting Sean Strickland. That's another good one.
Yeah.
So maybe, maybe there'll be some movement with that fight. But yeah, middleweight is just like kind of in a stinker right now, man. It's super hard because if you go like back 5 years, you had like so many names: Chris Weidman, Yoel Romero, Luke Rockhold, all these guys, and then that you're like, okay, but Adesanya's just cleared out this division so bad that
outside of Pereira, who said he's going to 205, Whitaker, who's already fought him twice. That's 1 and 2 right there.
Yeah.
Then you got Vettori, who's already fought him twice.
Yeah.
Cannonier's already fought him. Kosa's already fought him. Duplessis, who we're hoping for. Then you got Sean Strickland, I guess, for a fresh opponent, but now we're all the way down at 7.
Yeah.
Then you got Derek Brunson, already fought him. Roman Dolidze, but we're at 9 now. I don't think Roman Dolidze or Jack Hermanson or Kelvin Gastelum are on their way to a title fight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, outside of running it back with Robert, running it back with Pereira, hopefully Duplessis can get this win.
Yeah, there's always the Hamzat Chimaev option, but I think that it sounds like they're kind of they don't want to give any more shine to people who haven't worked in the division. So it sounds like Eugene Behrman, I've heard him say that he wants to fight contenders, not people that they just give title shots. Yeah. But I mean, I feel that, but at the same time, like if you're Izzy, you only have so much time left. Like, I would think that he would be wanting to make as much like pay-per-view money as you could. So like a Hamzat Chimaev matchup with Adesanya would go crazy, I think.
I agree.
And it would be an interesting matchup. I mean, that's one that, you don't really know how that one's going to go, but, you can make assumptions. But, yeah, so, yeah, I don't know. That division is kind of in a stinker right now, but hopefully they get some stuff resolved in it. So
I agree. Hopefully they can get that division cleaned up and they can figure something fun out for Izzy and the rest of the division. We're excited about that Robert Whitaker add-on to International Fight Week. What is that, UFC 289 or 290? 290.
Okay. Yep.
So that'll be fantastic. Anything else we got for these guys?
I think we're good, brother. That should be good.
Thanks, man. Let's call it a night.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to 10 Ounce Fight Club. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. I'm Elijah. This is James.
Hatman Jam. And let us know who you think's going to win between Aljamain Sterling and Triple C next weekend. We're out.